Hey there, my name is Cameron, also known as Venus Theory, and today I'm here with Music Lab to teach you how to get started making your own Future Garage tracks. I think anyone can make a really great sounding track. It's not about having a pro studio or a bunch of expensive gear or all of the latest plugins. Instead, I think it's about communicating an idea that's true to you and bringing your creative vision to life in your own unique way. To get started, we'll first need to set the tempo of our DAW, and for most Future Garage tracks, this is going to be somewhere between 128 and 160 beats per minute, but feel free to experiment and go with whatever feels right. The biggest part of a Future Garage track, I think, is the atmosphere and vibe, and this is where I like to start a lot of my productions, because I find once you have a general mood and soundscape going, the track is bound to turn out great. To get the ball rolling, we'll start off with a nice emotional synth pad sound. This is one of my presets here. We just want to make sure that the pad isn't too big and overwhelming because we need to make sure we leave space for the other elements of the track. For the chord progression of your track, I usually like to do something between 8 to 16 bars long. If you're not sure what chords to use to get started, you could use a site like Chordify to find some chords for your favorite tracks and use them as they are, or try using a modified version of them. With your pad sounds as well, don't forget to add a nice dose of reverb or delay to add a nice sense of space and atmosphere. To start building the sonic world of the track, I like to bring in a lot of field recordings or recordings of sounds just all around me. If you have a field recorder, you can use that. Otherwise, you can just use your smartphone. Most modern smartphones have a pretty decent mic and you can get some really nice high quality recordings to use in your tracks. Here I've used a couple of recordings of rain, a couple of recordings of a city park, and then a recording of me out hiking in the woods. When we layer that with our synth pad sound, it starts to build a nice sonic landscape that our listener can place themselves in. Now that we've got the groundwork laid out, we can start adding a melody to our track, and this can really be anything you want, like a piano, a soft pluck layer, or even an additional pad. Just don't forget to add some lush delay and reverb once again to give it that big, atmospheric, spacey vibe. To fill out the low end of our track, we'll bring in a nice rumbling respace sound by using some detuned filtered saw waves. For your bass line, you can usually just follow your chord progression, or you could add in some slides and stops for something a little bit more interesting. With all that put together, we've really laid down the basis of our track. Let's take a quick listen to what we have so far. From here, you could experiment by adding in some vocals, another melody layer, another pad, or some more textures and little details. It's really up to you, and there are no hard and fast rules, so just remember that if it sounds good, it is good. One of the most distinctive things about Future Garage is those organic shuffling drums. Now, they might sound kind of complicated, but it's actually a bit easier than you might think. To get started, I like to lay down a basic pattern using a kick and a snare, and then I'll bring in some more field recordings to add some texture to the snare. Next up, I like to bring in a percussion layer to start filling out the groove. You can use loops, you can create your own loops, or you can use even more field recordings. So I've just brought in a bunch of my own sampled loops that I've created using field recordings of things like snapping twigs, playing with silverware, or anything else that just sounds kind of cool. To finish out the drums, I think the big secret is just to layer several different loops together that use different sounds and rhythms. This way you build up this large, shuffling, organic motion to your drums, and it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Here, I've layered a couple different loops together, so let's start bringing those in and see how that affects the final sound. One other important thing to remember with Future Garage drums is things don't need to be perfect and exactly on the grid all of the time. That's what really creates that organic shuffling motion, is when things aren't quite perfect, but they're almost there. So taking a couple of your hits and moving them ever so slightly off the grid is a great way to add some organic movement to your drums. With all of the pieces put together, now we can arrange our track, and usually I keep this pretty simple. I'll just take sections of the track and duplicate them, and then add variations by adding new elements or taking elements away to create new sections for the track. With our track arranged and ready to go, the last step would be mixing, and for the sake of time we won't go into detail about that here. But if you're looking for some tips to learn how to get better mixes, you can check out my video with the link down in the description. With all that done, we've selected our sounds, we've put them together, we've arranged our track, and we've done some basic mixing. So let's take a listen to the final result. And that's really all there is to making your own Future Garage tracks. I think making music is a whole lot of fun, and it can be a very therapeutic process just to kind of unwind and get your feelings out. I hope this inspires you to get out there and start making your own tracks, and when you do, be sure to upload them and put the link down in the description below, because the best one will be selected to be added to a future Music Lab playlist. The Music Lab team and I are very excited to hear what you come up with, so be sure to share it once it's ready. For more music and tutorials, don't forget to subscribe to the Music Lab channel down below, and if you want to learn more about music production and sound design, feel free to subscribe to my channel with the link down in the description. That wraps everything up for this one, so cheers to you. Thanks for joining me. I hope you learned something, and as always, I hope this inspires you to get out there and make something awesome. Be sure to check out the Music Lab channel for more Future Garage playlists, and as always, enjoy the music.